My question is this. I believe that your experience as a federal public defender has made you a better judge, helped you maintain impartial and balanced perspective in criminal and other cases. And I assume you would agree with that.
Yes, Senator. I think that experience in the criminal justice system, whether, as you say, on the prosecution side or the defense side, having actual experience is an asset as a judge. You understand the way the system works, and as a defense counsel, you have interacted with defendants in a way that, as a judge, at least as a trial judge, I thought was very beneficial. One of those ways is it helped me to develop a sense of the need to communicate directly with defendants. And, it didn't change, I think, in any way the outcomes of the cases when I was a trial judge, but I understood from my time as an appellate defender that a lot of defendants go through the system and don't really understand it. And the problem with that from our society's standpoint is that when people go through the criminal justice system and don't have a good understanding, they tend to not take responsibility for their own actions. They tend to be bitter and feel as though the justice system has wronged them. And so while they're doing their time, rather than reflecting on the fact that this is the consequence that they have to face for actually committing a crime, instead of doing the work to rehabilitate themselves, they're focusing on how wronged they are, how victimized they feel. And so what I decided as a trial judge was that I was going to make sure that everyone who was in my courtroom, and especially the defendant, understood all of the procedures that we were going through, all of the steps. I spoke directly to them. I asked them, do you understand what's happening? Because I wanted them to know. And then even perhaps more importantly, as I said about my child pornography cases, I focused on the harms of the behavior that was at issue. When I sentenced a defendant, I made clear in every case, here is the problem. This is what you've done. Here is the damage to our society. And I don't know that I would have done that if I had not been a criminal defense lawyer.
Well, and that's sort of what, I was getting to the fact that you have that experience. It's obvious you don't get, as a public defender, you don't get to choose your clients. It's not like you're going out there picking and choosing. You're told you're going to defend this person, but they're given that right under the Sixth Amendment. And you're a member of the bar or judge or public defender, you take an oath to uphold the Constitution. And the Sixth Amendment's a pretty important part of it, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, Senator.
And it's also a pretty important part for indigent defendants. Is that not correct?
That is correct, especially for indigent defendants, because they are determined to not be able to afford counsel. And as you said, Senator, for a judge, it is crucial that you have arguments that are being made and presented on both sides of the issue. That is what allows for judges to reach just results in cases, and it's what makes our system so exemplary.